independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Donald John Trump, by causing such harm to the society of the United States, is unfit to be president and warrants impeachment, trial, and removal from office.
That right there is Al Green. That was yesterday. And Al Green did something kind of sneaky to try to force Pelosi and the Democrats to do something. This guy, since the day Trump's got there, has pretty much been calling for impeachment. And there's about 90 Democrats who are all fine for impeachment, would like to see it happen, knowing full well that the minute it is said and done, and this is the way you got to look at impeachment. Impeachment is the House is essentially the grand jury, and the trial takes place in the Senate, and the Senate is controlled by, you need, 67 senators? You're not getting that. You're not. Everybody knows that. You're just not going to get that. So Al Green really wants to push this, right? He wants to push this. So he was able to force a consideration of his articles because he filed it as a privileged resolution. So what that means is essentially there's a 2-day clock, tick, 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 tick. So what happens now is they can do a few things with it, right? They can motion to table it or refer it to committee rather than vote for it. But what that says, right, and it shows me everything I need to know about the politics of it all, right? Because yesterday it was all about condemning Trump, all the things he said, yada, 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 how evil he is, blah, blah, blah.
These comments from the White House are disgraceful and disgusting, and the comments are racist. How shameful to hear him continue to defend those offensive words that we have all heard him repeat, not only about our members, but about countless others.
All right, so that was Pelosi yesterday, who, in doing that, got basically told you can't say the things that you said, right, because it goes against the rules here. And, away you went. But it just shows you what the politics of the world is. It is so much more talk and bark than bite. And that's sad. And that just shows you right there how sad so much of this is. It's a lot of yap, 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 very little bite, and very little getting anything done. Somebody asked me yesterday, Chad, when do you think this will end? I said, never. It's never going to end. As long as we have the two-party system, it's never going to end. It just won't. Your choice is you have a few smaller parties, right? You have the big two, right? And really it'll be a big one followed by a bit of a smaller one, followed by a bit of a smaller one than that, and then some fringe parties that will all have their opportunity to be in the House and the Senate. And they can maybe get some done. Or the other side of it is you have a singular party that dominates everything. See California and 49 other states who dominate with one party. This is what we have right now. This is it. And it's frustrating because there are real things to talk about out there. Real things to debate. Real things. And we won't be talking about them in the way that we should be because the reality is it's talking about health care. Talking about immigration. See, immigration is one of those ones where you start talking about immigration, the average person who even on the periphery follows politics, right, knows there's a solution to be had. It's not that hard. Can't figure out why it doesn't get done. But they realize the solution's there. And the same thing for a lot of stuff, whether it's health care or whatever it is. There's solutions out there. But it is until you start to just peel back the onion to see that it's just a bunch of crap. It is. And that's the frustration that so many people have. I hear it every single day on both sides of the aisle. On both sides of this aisle. So yesterday they spent 5 hours talking about Trump's tweets getting very little, if anything, done. And you know what was missed? Pelosi gave a good speech, really good speech, about what's going on in China and with the Uyghurs, who are a Muslim minority in China that are being put in real concentration camps, work camps, education camps, to the tune of, anywhere between 1 and 3 million. But they spent the rest of the day doing what? It's talking about tweets. The squad. It's nuts. Didn't make anything better. Your non-binding, non-binary resolution didn't get you a day off work. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at me. I love hearing from you. All right, here's the deal. If you've done the Face app challenge, don't do it again. But it might be too late. And if you're thinking about doing it, don't.
The internet sensation called FaceApp taking over social media in just the last 24 hours. Celebs like Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, the Jonas Brothers and Kevin Hart all posting their FaceApp pics. The free mobile app uses a type of artificial intelligence to transform your face with just one tap. Want a different smile? Done. Want a preview of what you might look like in 50 years? Bingo.
There you go. Now, let me tell you what you've done. You've downloaded something that essentially you've let them in. It is a Russian company that has developed this, and it's been around for a while. It just, over the last 24 hours, took off again. So you have granted FaceApp a perpetual, irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable subs license to use, reproduce, modify, adapt, publish, translate, create derivative works from you, distribute publicly, perform, and display your user content in a name, username, likeness provided. But wait, it's not there. You've also given them complete access to everything, including not just that photo, all of your photos and your information on your phone. Think about that. That's why you're supposed to read those things. Nobody does, right? But when when it's Apple, when it's Google, when it's some of that, I mean, you kind of get it. But when it's somebody that you don't quite know, you've just given everything to them. We have opted in our privacy. Take it all. Take everything. And somebody asked me today, are you going to do the Face app challenge? Nope. Not going to do it. No. First of all, no. Secondly, no. For a lot of reasons. One, that stuff doesn't, oh, but Chad. The other thing is, I look at this and I'm like, have you read all of this stuff? Have you read we're worried about Russia and we've just opted into giving everybody everything inside of your phone. That's insane. Well, enjoy it, kids. But hey, you look older. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Oh, man, 50 years ago. Think about that. 50 years ago.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Boom. How insane is that? They've started the computer. I don't know if you saw this, producer Phil, your love of all things astronauty and space. They restarted the computer to see if it worked, and it did.
Well, that's really cool.
Did. It's probably like, what, 1/2 of 1 gig or something? Something so small. It's not even a terabyte. It's just crazy to think about what they did. And one of the things I found to be interesting is the fact that, remember, nobody knew what was going to happen, right? And the thought process was, because you have to have a backup to your backup to your backup in all things. So case in point, they didn't know, okay, we got you to the moon, but there is a chance we can't get you back. And you guys recognize that chance. So they had a backup letter written out. On top of that, so if he had to go deliver a speech, right? He's going to go deliver this speech of what was going to happen. The president at the time, he was going to have to go deliver the speech. And he was also going to have to tell them, essentially, all right, here's your choices. Suicide or starve to death. Those are your choices. Suicide or starve to death. Think about how brave it is, how crazy that is. Because, you knew the people, you trusted the people that you've been working with. But at the same time, it was such an unknown. Totally, just completely unknown that this might go south. We may land there, and there isn't a backup rescue mission. Nobody's coming behind us. So understand that this may be a one-way ticket. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. AMAC, an amazing organization that is absolutely incredible. And, I've been working with them for a while, and I'll tell you this. They're Association of Mature American Citizens, and they really have a common sense, solid approach to the way that they look at things. They're lobbying on your behalf. They're working on your behalf. They're talking to the movers and the shakers in the political world, trying to show them, look, we need common sense immigration reform, right? We really need things, especially for an older generation, on ways that we can, have long-term solvency for Social Security without raising taxes, doing things the right way. And it is amazing what they're doing. And right now you can join for free. It's a 1-year membership, absolutely free. You go to amac.us/Chad. They're not going to charge you a penny. That's amac.us/Chad, or call them at 888-355-1617. That's 888-355-1617. They really are an organization that cares. The benefits are incredible. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, so much more on top of all the things they're going to be doing for you and your behalf, and the way that you look at the world is in many ways so much different than the big world of ARP and things of that nature. amac.us/Chad. Join for free today. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
On this vote, the yeas are 332 and the nays are 95, with one answering present. The motion is adopted.
What does that mean? They tabled the motion. They tabled it. So yesterday, 5 hours, they're doing their thing, right? Like, they're just out there. They're debating all this stuff. They're going back and forth. Everybody gets to say stuff. By the way, there were a bunch of rules broken yesterday, rules that they set up. Nancy Pelosi broke the rules. Then the person came in after her, who dropped the gavel, if you will, the microphone. He broke the rules. And archaic and weird, but you scratch your head. So one of the rules, though, that was thrown out there was, or something was thrown out there that was archaic, was Al Green trying to get his resolution for impeachment out there. And he had the chance today, because the way that he had done it simply was a very simple way of a privileged, the way that he did it. It's like they call it a privileged resolution, something like that. And so that means within 48 hours, it has to be heard. It can either go to a committee, it can be voted on, or it could be tabled. Today, they looked at impeachment. Now, mind you, they've gone through all of this stuff. And they said, yeah, we're going to table it. So they've tabled it. So they just put it over there. They're like, we're going to deal with you later, is how that's going to go. So away it goes. Nothing's going to come of it. You knew it. You did. Nancy Pelosi has a tough job because she understands, she looks around the country, and the poll that Axios put out the other day was the perfect poll to understand where the Democrats lost, right? High school educated, not college educated, 2 income earners, predominantly white. That's where they lost. And their view on socialism, on the AOC, the Ilhan Omar's, that side of the progressive wing inside of the Democratic Party is negative. They get that. She gets that. The people that are out there saying we want to impeach him, they got nothing to worry about. They're not going to be in a situation where they're going to lose. She's looking at 20. And this is something that I think is, and to talk about narcissism. Because never mind about it. These ladies, the squad, they're as narcissistic as anybody else in politics. And they're starstruck with their own celebrity in a lot of ways. They care about their headlines more than they care about the party. Oddly enough, it used to be I got pissed off because the party was before the people. They've put themselves before the party, before the people. You're now third in line. Soak that in for a second. Just for a smidge. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's National Hot Dog Day. Did I have a hot dog? Yes, I had two without the buns, right? Trying to cut back on my carbs. So I pick and choose. So I had two Nathans, and they were delicious. Hebrew National Nathans. That's the win. Everything else. It is also World Emoji Day. So I was reading this. So there's 20 new emojis that have been revealed. But this right here caught my eye, and I didn't know what else to say. Are you ready for this? We need at least 80,000 more emojis for true inclusivity, says experts. Soak that in for just a second. We need at least 80,000 more. Not 80 more, 80,000 more for true inclusivity. I don't even know what to say at this point in time. People wonder why Trump and a lot of people say the things they say, and then they wonder why people don't freak out about it, because that's the kind of stuff where you sit there and go, we need how many more? For what? Yeah. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. More on the non-impeachment impeachment. Kevin Spacey got some good news. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We're going to have contempt votes today. But that's not all we're going to do today. We're going to go for the third time on impeachment.
Well, impeachment didn't happen, but contempt votes did happen. So Wilbur Ross and A.G. Barr have been found in contempt, or the votes have gone through. And so let the battle begin there. Also very political. And this has all to do with subpoenas being ignored about the census. So where this goes from here, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Really, I couldn't tell you. But this is what politics has become, the I gotcha scenario, right? I got you. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to paint it so the only answer that you can give me is I got you. If you go one way, your side may be mad at you. If you go another way, this side may be mad at you. And then people could go, ha-ha! And if you don't answer it, then both sides will be mad at you. It's frustrating, right? It's got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Got you. You get you. I got you. Get you. Got you. Good. You good. Somebody asked me yesterday, what do I think of Trump's tweets? I said, they're Trump. What'd you expect? Right? I mean, he tweeted something today. He said, talking about the squad again, saying they're the reasons that they have directions on shampoo. I mean, he is who he is. And he loves the limelight and the spotlight and the battle as much as anybody. As much as anyone. He loves it. He thinks it's fun. He does. He genuinely enjoys it. I said, here's my big problem with it. We all know what he meant. If you're looking for race, if you're looking for sexism, if you're looking for whatever it is you're looking for, you're going to follow it. You can find it. My issue is, much like the ladies over there, right, who are dominating so much of the media, Trump does that and then some. And the Republican Party has had to make concessions, but he's like that disgruntled athlete, right? You ask him 1,000 times, you get all kinds of answers, and then you go around asking everybody else in the locker room about him, which takes away from you and what you're trying to do when you spend half your time defending, battling for, battling against. And that gets frustrating. That absolutely gets frustrating. I don't care what anybody says. Behind closed doors, just I've got sources, and oddly enough, I talked to a couple of my friends a couple days ago who are on the Democratic side, who say, you know, Nancy can't stand the squad. She can't. She can't. All public niceties, but even then, there's times when you see it's frayed, and it's a lot worse behind. And on the other side, I've got a couple Republican friends who are Congress people who tell me Trump drives them crazy. They spend more time shoveling stuff that they shouldn't be shoveling because Trump puts them in situations that are awkward and uncomfortable. Used to be party before the people, when really it should be people first, then the party, then you. Now it's the other way. It's you, party, people. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Today is the anniversary of Eric Garner's death, and it's a very interesting day because here's another one of those things. We were going through a time in our country, Ferguson, then Eric Garner, and Freddie Gray, and yesterday the news came out that not only is the officer who has been they didn't file any charges against him, they didn't go after him federally yesterday, and there was a lot of reaction, and Pantalano, who is the officer, is still on the job. So it's a very interesting thing that's going on there, and it was a very loud day for people who are pissed because they feel like here is a situation where justice wasn't served. White officer, black man.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Pantaleo has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho, Pantaleo has got to go, hey, hey.
Yeah, and he's not going, by the way, just to let you guys know. He is not going as of yet. Doesn't mean he won't go. But the reality is, at this moment in time, he's still there. And this is the whole race relation thing. And this has nothing to do with Trump, too. I saw somebody who tweeted out something about, like, this is on Trump. And I'm like, whoa. He's been president for, like, 2 years. 2.5 years. This took place long before president. I think Trump had come down the escalator yet. But that's how we view things now. It's like we got to blame whoever's in this situation, and this is all about him.
The family came out obviously upset. Gwen Carr, Eric Garner's mother, said the Justice Department had let her down. She said, my son said I can't breathe 11 times. Now she said she couldn't breathe because of the decision. And so they're going to still fight, she said, to have Officer Pantaleo fired from the NYPD.
Now, that may or may not happen because, again, he's still working.
He's been on the force the whole time, relegated to a desk, and he just concluded an internal departmental trial. The police commissioner is awaiting a decision from the departmental judge, and then will ultimately be the one to decide whether Pantaleo should lose his job.
And think about this for a second. So you've been through the first investigation where you were cleared. Then you went through the federal investigation where you were cleared. Chances are he's going to be cleared here. Do you even really want that gig? I mean, is that a gig that you're thinking, I want to get back out there? I don't know. I mean, or are you just waiting for, hey, I just want to get through X amount of years so I can get my pension? And if you guys remember it, he was selling Lucy's. It wasn't the first time he'd had a run-in. They got into a scuffle. It was more than a few officers trying to take him down. He was saying he couldn't breathe. He had asthma. And the battle ensued, and he ended up eventually having a cardiac arrest. It was a awful thing. And I don't think he set out that day to go, I'm going to go find somebody and choke them to death. But when you have something like this, it's high profile. And once something like this happens, again, even if it was, is it the uniform I always ask, or is it the white and black? Or is it a bit of both? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at me. Love hearing from you. Abigail Disney went after the Disney Corporation. She's been out a lot lately. She is the granddaughter of Roy Disney, the great niece of Walt Disney. She's been all over television talking about just, wealth inequities and whatnot.
Why is income inequality so important to you?
It's huge. It's the game changer that we're living in right now. It's because we're creating a super class so far above the vast majority of people that they don't share the same planet anymore. 47% of American people can't cope with a $400 emergency.
Yet, yesterday, how much money do people spend on iPhones and all the great stuff because they got a deal on things? And that's real. I mean, the $400 thing is a very real thing that needs to be discussed. And the wealth inequity, my issue has always been, and when I talk to people about wealth, they're like, why, yesterday I had a bunch of people saying, Chad, why do you like Republicans? I said, I don't like any of these people for all intents and purposes. I'm not in love with them, right? Never fall in love with the politician. At best, fall in like and make it a 1-year contract, even if you can make it a month-by-month or day-by-day contract, but never fall in love. Fall in like. Because they're going to eventually let you down. Not always going to be their fault, but they will. But when I watch politicians on the left, everything is about how we can chop down from the top rather than build up from the bottom. And that is always my struggle with them. They're this, they're that, they're all. Let me tell you something. A great article today. A huge study they've done for 40 years looking at how people become successful, right? How do people become successful? It's not hard as people make it out to be. It's not. They make it out to be the hardest thing around, or you have to be lucky. And guess what? Luck is a part of it, but not luck as in you win the lottery. They say the most talented and smartest people rarely achieve uber success. Rarely do. If ever, in a lot of ways. And a lot of that is because what? Everything comes easy. Right? Everything comes easy. Now, every once in a great while, you will get all of it put together. Right? You're going to get the Michael Jordans and LeBron James, the Magic Johnsons. You're going to get all of the talent in the world, plus people are willing to put in the effort and time. But I just, luck plays a part of it. But it's not the luck as in, oh, that person's just lucky. It's the harder you work in life, the luckier you get. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. You work hard, you bust your ass, you put in time, you'd be surprised about the luck that you have, the luck that you get, that comes your way. And one of the other things they talked about, and this was something, they said they talk about how you make your own luck, which is so true, meeting people, doing more things, and start asking for more. And that's one thing people don't do. I've always said this. People who are successful love to talk about their success and love to share it. We're always talking about sharing the wealth. We're never talk about sharing the wealth that matters, which is how did you get there? And they talked about the fact that a young guy named Steve Jobs at 12 years old called Bill Hewlett. And he said, hey, I'm in high school. I want to build a frequency counter. Do you have spare parts? Bill Hewlett of Hewlett Packard said, yeah, I've got some. Gave it to him. And gave him a job in the summer. And it took off. And he said, I never found anyone who ever said no or hung up the phone when I called. Now, sometimes it's hard to get a hold of people, but let me tell you something. They will talk. They like it. It's amazing that more people don't do it, but people are afraid. It is. Harder you work, the luckier you get. And a lot of times in life, it's an act of attrition. Can you survive long enough to get to where you need to go? And just as I've seen it more often than not, people get close to what they want and they get frustrated and they give up and it goes away. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. AMAC, an amazing organization. Been working with them for a while. Spent some time with them earlier this year. The things that they're doing, you know, one of the things they're fighting for is, first of all, they give you all the greatest benefits you can find. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts. Discounts that are massive. 50% off movie tickets. Huge discounts to amusement parks across the board. Health insurance. You name it, they're going to help you with all kinds of things. But when I was meeting with them, they said, we're worried about Social Security being solvent. And we don't want to be raising taxes and doing other things to try to fix something and be fixed now. And that's what they're doing. They lobby on your behalf for common sense immigration reforms, things like this. It is really amazing what they're doing. And what they want to do is put their money where their mouth is and show you what they're doing by giving you a year free membership. It is simple. It is easy. All you have to do is go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. Or you can call 888-355-1617. That's 888-355-1617. It's a one-year membership, absolutely free. amac.us/Chad. Try them out. You're going to love them. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson, Chad Benson Show.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Fui.
Fui, and double fui.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Fui to families too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
The accuser's attorney said his client has shown an enormous amount of courage under difficult circumstances, but when the accuser refused to testify at a recent pretrial hearing about missing evidence, prosecutors had little choice but to drop the indecent assault charge against Kevin Spacey. The actor had been accused of touching the young man's genitals for 3 minutes in a Nantucket restaurant several summers ago. He had pleaded not guilty, but the accusation and a number of others paralyzed Spacey's career. Police in London recently interviewed Spacey about allegations in the UK.
Yeah, does this mean he's going to work again? No, I don't think so. I think there's too many other things that are out there. But this was one of the things that they thought they had him on, and that's it. This guy would not testify. And it did get a little weird because they asked him for his phone for all these text messages, and there was a bunch of stuff that had disappeared. So you've got to think to yourself, if you deleted a bunch of these, there must have been something on there that you didn't want us to see. Whatever that was. And it could have been nothing. But the reality is we got to say no. And if you're not going to testify at some point in time, sorry. That's what had to happen. And you'll find that you go and you look that, like, Weinstein's defense team is putting up a good battle, because a lot of times these women or men who were in situations that may have been bad, and you don't know, everybody's innocent until, we're presumed innocent until found guilty, that they did hang on at times. They did come around. They did still participate in talking with, meeting with, even though things had happened afterward. And while they're saying, hey, you look over there and you're on the stand and somebody looks at you and says, wait a minute here, so-and-so did this to you on numerous occasions. Yes, but yet you continued to have a relationship with them over and over again, even at times instigating dinner and conversations. So there is, that's how things get folded out. And maybe this guy just said, no, I don't want to go through something like that.
Emmy nominations yesterday. So host, no host? Emmy's co-executive producer Ian Stewart says it's a question he has as well.
Should we have a host? Should we not have a host? There's another way to come at it, etc. That's something that we can decide now that we can formulate it, knowing the nominees. By knowing the nominees, some things may jump out or may not.
The Oscars this year famously went without a host, and the reviews were mostly positive. The Emmys air September 22nd on Fox.
Who wants to host something like that? Nothing good comes out of it. Another nothing good comes out of it. You're going to go there. You're going to get hammered by the critics. You're going to be told how bad the ratings are. Nothing good comes out of it. I think the no-host way is the way people are going from now on. Unless you're such a star that's beloved. Like Billy Crystal could host something and people aren't going to dislike him. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter, Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
On this vote, the yeas are 332 and the nays are 95 with one answering present. The motion is adopted.
Yeah, there it is. What was that? Tabling of impeachment. Right? So yesterday they debated all day about whether they should condemn him. What he tweeted over the weekend as he controls the news cycle. And so they voted because this little archaic, weird rule about a way that you bring something to the floor, a privileged way is a privileged motion, if you will, which is what Al Green did, brings it to the floor. Now, remember, yesterday, binding resolution? No, non-binding resolution. Nothing. Just you are on double secret probation. So today, Al Green, because of what he did in his motion, Nancy Pelosi and the House have to act within 48 hours, 2 days. They could have voted on it, up or down, impeach, not impeach, knowing it would die immediately. They could have sent it into a committee. But they tabled it. They just said, we're going to put you just here, over there. All right, there you go. So there it was. Not being impeached. Trump being Trump, because that's what Trump does. And no impeachment. And I think he's bummed about that. I do. I think he wants that fight because he knows what's going to happen. You're going to have to get 67 senators. So take it. This is a simple way to explain it. House is the grand jury. They decide whether or not to indict. Goes down. The trial's down in the Senate. Senate decides what happens from there. You need 67 senators. They're not going to get it. It would be a moot point. Trump today before he took off for his rally.
No, if people want to leave our country, they can. If they don't want to love our country, if they don't want to fight for our country, they can. I'll never change on that, no.
Yeah, so still being him. Not giving it up at all, pushing buttons because he loves to push buttons. He tweeted out today that the squad, is the reason that they have instructions on shampoo. I laughed. I'm not going to lie to you. And I don't even follow his tweets. It happened to be one of a bunch of stuff that was on my thing. And I looked and I was like, what? And I just started laughing. Right? He loves this. He does. He loves it.
I do think I'm winning the political fight. I think I'm winning it by a lot.
And in some ways, I think he's absolutely right. The frustrating side of things for him, or for the Republicans, is they have to go around all the time being asked questions about him, which takes a bit away from them. just like AOC and them are, the spotlight's so bright on them that Nancy Pelosi is having to answer questions about the party and them rather than talk about other things. And that has to be frustrating after a while. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So CNN, I asked the question earlier. CNN breaks news about their debates that they're having. So they're breaking news about themselves. But the debate, as far as now, they haven't. When is it Selection Thursday? Is that next Thursday, Phil? Is that when that's
tomorrow.
going on? Oh, it's tomorrow. So we know who's going to be in it. We don't know what nights they're going to be in it. But here we go, because they're going to be pulling from a hat. So Michael Bennett, Joe Biden, Cory Booker, Steve Bullock, Peter Buttigieg, Julian Castro, Bill de Blasio, John Delaney, Tulsi Gabbard, Kirsten Gillibrand, what? Kamala Harris, John the Hickenlooper, baby, Jay Inslee, Amy Klobuchar, Beto. I can't believe Beto's still around. I got to be honest with you. He's got, what, $6 million? How does he explain this? How does he explain this fall from grace? Other than he just became just a sniveling, whiny biatch. It's the best way to describe it. And that's what he became. He just, I'm so sorry for everything that's ever happened to anybody. Tim Ryan, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Marianne Williamson. It's about love, Phil. I just want to let you know that. It's about love. I think we can love our way to victory. And my man, the Yang dog, Andrew Yang. We're efforting always to get Yang on. If you don't know who he is, he's an entrepreneur, Silicon Valley guy. So you got Jay Inslee, whose only thing is we're going to fix climate change, and that's what he's running against. But Yang is running as everybody gets $1,000, regardless of how much money you make a month. You're just going to get $1,000, and there you go. So we're always efforting to get him on. But that's who you've got to choose from, people. So let's see if anybody... you know what? The pandering that's going to go on is going to be tremendous. We know that. And yesterday, somebody texted at me later in the evening and said, or tweeted at me talking about the fact that, the Democrats are always for the working people and the little man, and Republicans are only for corporation. I'm like, go look and see the money that they get. You need to understand that these people, by and large, in particular the party apparatus, is about the party. They're not about the people. They're not. They're about keeping their power and their fiefdoms. Whether they get $1 billion from Wall Street or $1 billion from the unions, everybody that's giving them money wants something. That's the reality of it. That is the reality of it. They all want something. And they're willing to say just about anything they possibly can to get away with, to get elected, to keep their power. When they say, do you think all people that are here illegally should get this, that, and the other, and they all raise their hands, I don't think 80% of them believe that. I don't. That everybody should get free college and free health care and blah, blah, blah. I don't think they buy into, most of them don't buy into any of that. And they know it's not real. But they're willing to say and do anything, and both sides do it. They pander where the pandering needs to be done. And I believe, and I've often wondered this, is how much do you believe it? Right? So how much do you believe? So if you're a person who is, you've got family that's here illegally, maybe you're a first or second generation, or maybe you're even here illegally and you listen to the show, because we've got people here that are dreamers, this, that, and the other. When you hear people come out on the, and they all raise their hands, they all do these kind of things, do you really believe it? Like, do you believe, oh yeah, they're going to get it done? Yeah, I believe or do you just want them to say that? Do you just want to see if they'll say that, even if they don't believe it? I'd rather them tell me to my face, no, this isn't going to happen, than lie to me and it not come true. But they all want to win. That is their goal. Their goal is to win. Their goal is power. Their goal is to hold on to their fiefdoms and their little areas. And I wish most people would understand that. But they're for the little people. Will the little people get me elected? Yeah, then I'm for you. And stop talking about me just like that's so rude. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. This was interesting. I came across this today because there was a picture, we posted a while ago on Facebook, of Chris Pratt. And Chris Pratt is wearing a shirt, the Don't Tread on Me shirt, libertarian shirt. You know, a lot of people like it, but it's now apparently, it's the Gadsden flag t-shirt, but it's now apparently the white supremacists have taken it over. And it was so interesting because if you ever read the headlines, and every day I go through stuff and it drives me crazy. But you have to have click porn, clickbait, you need eyeballs. You go and you read a headline and it's nothing about what it is, or it is blown out of proportions. But in the day and age when you're battling for stuff, that's what you have to do. And this is a very interesting, so I think it's Brian Stelter has some people on talking about the craziness and of that clickbait fake news world.
What is the fake controversy here? Yeah, so it was trending on Twitter that people were outraged that Disney had cast a black actress to play the Little Mermaid who was white in the cartoon. So this is erasing of our culture, oh no, which is ridiculous and absurd and racist. But actually, it was trending because most people were deploring the racism and saying that we're happy to have a black Ariel. You know, there were like 6 people who had said the racist thing, and then hundreds or thousands of people saying we condemn this. So then it's trending and it looks like news, but that's deceptive. It's trending because people were good and like this is a humanity is good moment.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right? And here's my moment with the Ariel thing. I don't care. There's also that moment in my life where I don't care. But it's a very few amount of people. And just like we've talked about with the fact that, you know, everybody thinks that there's this massive world out here in social media and so many people are involved. When you look at the numbers in Twitter, it was about 7% of America, about 3.5%, 4% actually use Twitter. It shows you how small it really is in a lot of ways as far as the reach goes. But it becomes big news because it goes from Twitter and the fight, and then the TV people and the news people and the radio people pick it up, and then it blows up from there. But yeah, so who was mad at Ariel? And what if you, and I always say, go look at the comments on any of these things. And then you go look at the tweets, and then you'll see somebody's, I can't believe that they picked so-and-so to be Ariel. And then just click on that and it'll take it to the tweet. Then see how many followers they have. 8. 7. So, and the Chris Pratt thing was one person who worked for Vulture who tried to start something by saying that him wearing that Don't Tread on Me Gadsden flag shirt is part of white supremacy, and he's now supporting white supremacy, so shouldn't everybody be outraged? Rah! It's just so stupid. Oh, for all the fake news and the Russia, and the fake news and the Russia, we troll ourselves better than any other country. And we will, I said it and I continue to say it, no matter how much you think Russia had a part in what took place as far as whether or not you was the only influencing thing, or yeah, they tried to do stuff, but nobody was really influenced. I'm in the camp of they may have tried to divide us more, but they didn't change votes. Right? If you didn't like Hillary, you didn't like Hillary. Nobody saw a meme and go, oh, I'm voting for Trump now, or vice versa. It just didn't happen. It just didn't. But we shared and we troll ourselves more than any other country. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Blink, baby. I got my Blink cameras up right now. So my big lizard, Norman, who is just the funniest. He's super shy and he's hilarious. So we got new Blink cameras, and I put them in the inside the cage so I could see what Norman was up to. So he'll go in and swim, and I could see it. And it's motion activated, so it just boom, 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 boom. It's crazy. But it's so funny because I'll post it. He climbs up, and he's curious about it, so we have to move it around all the time because all he does is try to knock it off. So you'll see him, and his eyes right in it, and then he'll swap at it. He's the best. These cameras are amazing. It's so easy to set up. Really is. They got the two-way talk feature, and the Blink XT2 cameras are amazing. You're going to be out and about all this summer. You're going to be doing a bunch of stuff. Why not protect your house? And nothing is better than Blink. Blink is so simple and easy. It starts under $100. No monthly contracts, no subscriptions, none of that stuff. It is wire-free again. Sets up quick. You got a two-way talk feature. You can monitor your home, your pets, all of those things right from the comfort of wherever you are. Peace of mind is amazing. Less than $100. Thanks to Blink, home security just got easier. Visit blinkprotect.com/Benson. 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 Also available on Amazon, at Best Buy. Blink's an Amazon company, and it works with Alexa. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
The judge noted Guzman's overwhelming evil in handing down the life term. He also imposed a $12.6 billion forfeiture. That, prosecutors had said, was a conservative estimate of the proceeds of El Chapo's Sinaloa cartel drug trafficking.
That's a lot of money, kids. That's a ton of money right there. I wonder how much he really had. I'm curious, right? But every single drug kingpin in whether it's Mexico or in South America or anywhere, their fear is America. They don't want to come here. That was the entire thing with Pablo Escobar. That was his massive fear. His fear was he was going to end up here and suffer the same fate that Guzman is going to suffer, which is 24 hours a day. Isolation. The only human contact you will come in to is, as far as somebody touching you, will be the guards putting on and taking off your restraints to go out. I don't even know how much time he's going to get out. So think about that for a second. For the rest of your life. He got life plus 30. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I don't know how they're going to try to get that money, but good luck to you. Good luck to you. Somebody just texted in and says, Chad, you're missing the point. You're ignoring the point. Republicans are for only corporations. When the Dems get elected, they help the poor and the working class. Show me anything that's working right now. All of these great programs are years and 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 decades old. Show me it. All these great, and I'll show you a ton of programs that don't work, but rather than put resources elsewhere to things that maybe do work or can work, we don't. It's about power. They'll switch a D or an R if they think they can keep power. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We'll talk to somebody, a millennial, conservative, Latino. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It has been a crazy week, as it is every week in the world of politics anymore. There is no time off. Used to be this time of year was really quiet. It is never quiet. From immigration to the squad battle to everything in between. Sometimes you just sit back and go, okay, where do other people feel and how do they feel about situations like this? Joining us now he's now a teacher, which is awesome because he's giving back. He says this is his passion, but he's also a former policy advisor to the Trump campaign. Joining us now, JUAN Pablo Andrade. And JUAN, let me ask you a question. First, I want to tell everybody, you are a millennial, you're a conservative, and you're Latino. And when you see these crazy tweets that come out, and let's be real, they're at times you just sit there and you shake your head. What do you think about this? Because this is somebody you've worked with and for in the past.
Well, yeah, honestly, I agree. I get that question all the time. Is that how could you be a Latino supporting Trump? Or more importantly, how could you be a Latino supporting his immigration policy? And quite frankly, in my opinion, and many people have said it in the past before, Latinos are Republicans, but they just don't know it yet. All these policies that most of the policies that Trump is putting in place, or at least trying to put in place, or a lot of the policies that a lot of the presidents in Latin America and Central America are trying to do. Just now that they're in the United States, land of the free, for some reason when it comes to presidents here, they think they come to this country, they think the Democratic Party, okay, I came to this country for democracy, I must be a Democrat. But it's a shame that the Democratic Party likes to brainwash a lot of the Latinos in this country.
Yeah, my grandfather is born and raised in Mexico, but he immigrated here in the late 60s, and it is, he is still, English is still a second language, you could tell that, and it drives him crazy, some of the craziness. But I read a great article today in a new poll, one that says that people in Mexico are over the flood of migrants to the point where it would be shocking to have those. If we had those numbers, we'd be a racist country. But Mexico's like 6 out of 10 say they're a nuisance.
No, but yeah, but I absolutely agree with that as well. The immigration problem in this country is honestly, in my opinion, the illegal immigration problem in this country is an epidemic. So, in my opinion, and obviously the Trump administration would agree with that as well. So it is a serious problem that we need to fix, and I'm with Trump all the way.
Talking to JUAN Pablo Andrade, he's a former was a teacher now, but he's a former policy advisor to the Trump campaign. With you talk about the Latino. Here you are a Latino. You're an American, but everybody's got to have their hey, you're this or you're that. And in the community, when you're talking to people who are other Latinos, they probably look at you and say, like, are you instead of an Uncle Tom, are you the Uncle Juan, if you will? And do they question how in God's name could you support a guy like this?
Absolutely. That honestly happens to me almost on a daily basis, because during my work for the Trump campaign and the policy advisor, most of my work was with communications, and a lot of times I did stuff like this, go on the radio, go on TV, and a lot of times what the Trump campaign liked me to do was I was very good with the channels and the radio stations that were primarily against Trump. So Univision, Telemundo, CNN Latino, examples like that. So a lot of the times it would throw me hard questions, and most of the time with the interviews and even on the street with people that I don't know, they would always throw to me, how could you possibly be a Latino supporting Trump? Yeah, and I would always say it's always, one, as an American, we have the right to support whatever we want, whether it comes to politics or anything else. And then two, it all comes down to principle. I've seen what the 8 years of Obama brought to this country, and now we needed a change. And, originally I did support Jeb Bush, but once I saw this country wanted something different, didn't want a politician. We wanted someone who wasn't necessarily a politician at the time. Now we have President Trump, and in my opinion, he's bringing jobs into this country. He's bringing a true sense of nationalism, more respect to the military, more respect to police officers, and actually trying to fix the illegal immigration crisis we have on our southern border.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where I want to go with the next thing. Talking to JUAN Pablo Andrade, here's a guy who has worked with Trump, former campaign advisor, and now a teacher back out there in the real world. You look at a situation like what's going on at the border. There's a solution there. Both sides played the political game. How do we get past this? My question is, and I look at the Democrats and I say the same thing. There's got to be people out there who have calmer, cooler heads that aren't interested in the politics of it all, but rather the solutions of it all. How do we get to a solutions-based point in politics where we can actually fix problems?
Okay, well, when speaking of regarding the illegal immigration crisis, unfortunately, the Democrats are it seems like they're so thick-headed, and they don't want to align themselves with anything that Trump wants to do. If Trump said the sky was blue, they would most certainly say the sky is not blue, that it's green. So they don't want to align themselves with anything that Trump says. But what we really need when it comes to illegal immigration is really come to a consensus and agree that there is a problem down there. The Democrats don't want to do that. We need to secure our southern border and make sure there's no illegal crossings there. But most importantly, most of the illegal immigrants that are here today don't even come through the southern border. They come overstaying visas from anywhere else. They don't necessarily always come from Mexico. So, that's why it's very important that President Trump is implementing these raids that just began on Sunday. It was funny, actually, that once the day before, right yesterday, I was driving through Queens. I was going to see family. I was at a red light, and I saw immigration officers pulling over a car and pulling out a family. So we're gonna start seeing that a lot, especially in major cities.
One of the things I've said is, especially when it comes to like ICE and the raids, which I don't think it is, they're just enforcing the rule that has been handed down by a judge. These people have seen judge. They've been told in February you have to vacate essentially this country, and they've decided to ignore those things. Is if you tell ICE, okay, you can't fish in this pond. You can't come to the prisons. You can't come to the jails. You can't be involved in any way, shape, or form. And these cities and states will not work with you. They're eventually, because they still have to fish, they're going to go fish somewhere else. And this is what you get.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think any mayor or any mayor of a major city or any, city council that refuses to work with immigrations and customs enforcement is obviously breaking. They should be breaking the law. Illegal immigration. It's illegal for a reason. People should be here legally. The Latinos that actually come here, and get their papers like they should, no matter how long it takes. My parents came here legally. It took a while, but they came here legally. Not one day of their life here illegally. And it'd be a shame that if someone's job was taken away by an illegal immigrant when it was a legal immigrant that came here and their job was taken by another illegal. So it's a shame that a lot of mayors in a lot of major cities are telling ICE, listen, if you come into our city, you're not doing a thing. You can't do anything. And it's a shame because we need to control this problem.
Absolutely. Talking to JUAN Pablo Andrade. He's a former Trump campaign advisor and he's a teacher now. Your parents came here from Venezuela. I'm sure you still have family over there. What are they saying it's like at this point in time?
Honestly, they wish they could come here. And I have most of my family that is in Venezuela actually moved down to Chile now. They know how hard it is to come here to the United States. But a majority of them say they wish they were in the United States. They have a president who in Venezuela who is literally a dictator, who's literally a socialist, communist, and they'd rather be here in the United States. A lot of the ideas and the policies that President Maduro, dictator Maduro, has in Venezuela has a lot of similarities with the Democratic Party here. So they'd much rather be here in the United States under Trump than under Venezuela, the Venezuelan regime currently.
Yeah, because it is chaos and it's sad. I got a couple friends who One of my friends is from there, and his family still lives there, and it's just he's a pilot, and he lives here in America. This is where he's at, and he just says it's what it was. How do you have an oil-rich nation like that and watch it fall apart the way they have and just run everything into the ground is crazy. Last question. Appreciate you coming on. Juan Pablo Andrade is joining us right now. He's a teacher, and he's a former policy advisor to the Trump campaign. You're back in the world now. You said you're doing your passion. You're teaching, and which is an amazing thing. You're going out there, seeing these young minds. Are you finding that the teaching world now, because I've said this over and over again, academia is where the first battle begins, where they're no longer teaching. In a lot of places, they're advocating for things. What's it like being out there teaching?
It's great. I love to, that's the most important, one of the most important jobs in this country is shaping the young, the young, because they're our future, honestly. They're going to be future politicians, police officers, doctors, lawyers, etc. So it's very important, shape their mind, but in the right way. I'm not the type of teacher that likes to influence. If I teach middle school, so they're young, preteen and teenagers. Okay, but I'm not the type of teacher that would influence them, like politically. Like, okay, you need to be a Republican or you need to be a Democrat. But unfortunately, what I've seen since starting is that a lot of teachers like to do that. And technically, they're not allowed to do that. You can't really bring in politics like that in the school districts, and you can't really bring religion like that in the school districts as well. But a lot of teachers like to do that. And quite frankly, I've been getting into a lot of arguments with teachers who know what I've done in the past regarding this.
I bet you. Yeah. It's an interesting time when you guys are hanging out in the teachers' lounge. Juan Pablo Andrade, thanks so much for joining us today. He's a teacher and he's a former policy advisor to the Trump campaign. Yes, he's young and he's a Latino and he likes Trump's craziness, man. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Chad, very much.
At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. I just like, if you're teaching, first of all, God bless you for teaching middle school, because it's like trying to herd cats and teach piranhas to be nice. It's just could be awful. Secondly, don't influence. I just see it way too much. I've got friends who are teachers, and some of them are really left and they let it come in. And I have another friend who's pretty libertarian and will give both sides of stuff, but it's just it's a tough thing out there. And the young, they're so easily, molded in so many ways. And they have, I think, a bit of stardom struck. That's what you see in the world of college, right? They get starstruck by their professors, and the professors, they can do anything they want. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what?
The Loretto, Tennessee Police Department worries that flushing illicit drugs like, say, methamphetamine down the toilet may have, unintended consequences. But winds up in the water treatment system where it's accessible, they think, to geese and ducks and, if it gets far enough downstream, even alligators. Can you imagine a gator on meth? Loretto police say if you really want to get rid of drugs, they have a safe, gator-free container in the department's lobby.
Yeah. So, could it happen? That's the question. Yeah, it could. Remember, was it about 3-4 weeks ago, Producer Phil, we did a story about they methed up a squirrel? Yeah. And it was aggressive and angry and saying, yeah, it could. Absolutely. People were asking me last night, Chad, is that even possible? Of course it is. Of course it is. Stuff gets inside. I mean, they'll start jonesing for it, I'm sure, because their body may get, I don't know how it's going to react to their body, but anything's possible. Same thing with the geese and the ducks and the whole 9 yards. Next thing you know, they're out doing things they shouldn't be doing in the park for a few extra bucks. You just don't want that, kids.
It was August 10th of 1969 when Lino and Rosemary LaBianca were murdered in their L.A. home by Charles Manson's followers. Their murders came the night after pregnant actress Sharon Tate and others were killed. Now the LaBiancas' home, the scene of their murders, is on the market for close to $2 million, under market value. In its online listing, it's described as a truly one-of-a-kind, 2-bedroom, 1.5-bath home with a pool. The pictures show beautiful views of L.A. With it comes a piece of L.A.'s dark history.
Would you want to? And know this. Now, this isn't Cielo Drive, and the movie's coming out in, I believe it's 2 weeks. which is the new movie with DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, and it's going to be interesting. It's about Hollywood. It's about the whole 9 yards around these murders, and it looks really interesting. And but this isn't Cielo Drive. This is a different one. And the fact is, this is what's so interesting about this. Think about that. It is a 2-bedroom house. It is 2 bedrooms. And they want $2 million. That is insane. It's nuts. It's tiny. Oh, my goodness me. California. It's just nuts, nuts, nuts. $2 million. That right there feels like murder. Chad. $2 million. Crazy. 323-538-2423. Now the question is, would you do something like that? So this is on Waverly Drive. Would you buy a house with a dark history? Yeah. I mean, it's a neat looking house, right? It's got the pool, the whole 9 yards. But most people who buy something like that, they're going to tear it down and put up something else. But that is one of those things. It's like, would you do something like that? I don't know. Maybe. For me, in our morbid world that we live in, there are people out there that actually look for something like that. So you never know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Say what?
We just had a very big vote on impeachment, the most ridiculous project I've ever been involved in.
Yeah, and that vote didn't go the way that some people wanted it to go. But the reality is it's the way that the Democrats run by Pelosi wanted it to go. That's what it is. They wanted it to go a certain way because, everybody always says, hey, Trump is defining the Republican Party. And some of that is true. They were selling their soul and they're doing all that stuff. But there's a lot of people that are out there doing stuff that we don't hear about. Same thing on the Democrat Party. But when it comes to the public, it's Trump and a few others. And it's the same thing with the Democrats. The four horsemen, as some people are calling them, the apocalypse or whatever, the squad. They're defining a lot of what's happening out there on the Democratic side. And that scares a lot of that mid kind of exhausted majority, just a little bit left compared to right, which are voters, right? I don't care who's going to be in in all of these primaries and all of these kind of things. The reality is, based on a lot of the craziness that's out there, the person that's still most electable is Joe Biden. Whether people want to believe that or not, that is the reality of it. Because they don't look at him as out there. But the impeachment thing went nowhere today. And it got tabled. They did get contempt on Wilbur Ross and Barr for the census, but it's politics, baby. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter, you can tweet at me. Do love hearing from every single one of you. I do. Got the Instagram as well. I'm going to throw up the lizards attacking our camera. It's hilarious. I don't even know what they think they're doing. Crazy little things. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So the Jeff Bezoses of the world would help pay for Medicare for all, higher taxes on them. Should the middle class at all have a stake in creating a system like Medicare for all through a bit of a higher tax rate?
Well, how do you think healthcare is not free? Right now, we pay for health care in a variety of ways. Pretty complicated. About half of health care dollars, more or less, comes from taxes. That's what Medicare is about, what Medicaid is about, what the CHIP program is about, what the Veterans Administration is about. So we really spend a lot of money on that.
Yeah, we do. And the battle of things that matter as we head into 2020, this to me is the economy is going to do what the economy does, right? That's what's going to happen. The economy is going to ebb, it's going to flow, it's going to do what it does, and that will still be the indicator because all of this is wrapped up in it. But as a singular issue, I look at this as maybe the issue. Immigration, yes, they're going to make it that because it's another great thing to talk about. But this is both sides don't want to talk about this. Remember this. The Democrats want to do now single payer. And you look at somebody like Joe Biden, who's in a pickle, right? First, he's not woke enough, and then the busing thing, and then he's too old. And now everybody wants to do single payer, and he feels like he's got to, what do I do? Because if he says single payer is the way to go, he's saying, for all intents and purposes, Obamacare failed. So the singular achievement of the 8 years of Obama, which was Obamacare, would have been a massive failure. It's not kept prices down. It's not done any of the things it was supposed to. And think about this. They want to take the whole thing over now. And everybody's going to have to pay. And I try to remind people, I don't think it's just going to be we can just tax the hell out of Wall Street and the rich and everybody. Everybody's going to have a part to play in this thing. And it's going to be very interesting. And so they're all trying to tap dance around, well, is this how I'm doing it, or is that how I'm going to do it? So at least Bernie's honest talking about we're going to have to tax everybody.
The role of private insurance, are you limiting that to something like cosmetic insurance? Or what is the exact role of private insurance?
To cover what is not otherwise covered.
So that includes what?
Very little, because almost everything will be covered.
So then how does this plan differ from what Senator Sanders is proposing?
I think that they're very similar. I don't know that they're, I don't think that, I'm supporting his bill. So to the extent that he's talking about his bill, I don't know what else he's talking about.
You said...
I'm not in support of middle-class families paying more taxes for it.
But they're going to have to. Everybody's going to have to. And how they'll get it, and this is something that people need to understand, how they're going to get it, because the cost will be so great. And remember this. Whatever government usually says what it's going to cost, you can almost double that. Rarely do they come in right where they're supposed to or under budget or just over. So what happens if the cost gets out of control? Stuff that's not asked, because we hear the 30, the 40 trillion, the whole 9 yards. What happens when it gets so big that we're running out of other people's money, and we're running out of money that other people don't even have that we're spending? What happens then? Because what they're going to have to do is have value-added tax, which is VAT. Like a lot of the globe, and I try to explain this to people, give you a quick snapshot. Chat's playing as we joke about. Simply put, value-added tax would probably have to be a part of this. So that means on top of your sales tax, your city, your state sales tax, they may have to add on another tax. In some countries, those taxes, they don't have the state and sales tax. States aren't giving up their stuff. You know that, and I know that. Cities aren't giving up their stuff, right? So they may have to add on 15 or 20%. In a place like Europe, like let's just take Denmark or Sweden, which everybody always likes to talk about, they have a value-added tax. So not only are their income taxes much greater, they pay more for goods. So when you think about, let's just say you spend $100 and your state tax, the city tax, it's an extra 10%. So it's 110. What if they add another $25 on that? those are things that never get taken into account. Like when we talk about like global warming and all these things, it all sounds great from the elitist point where, you know, you're living a life and you're driving your Tesla and you're doing all of these things. All of those things sound great. I don't care about paying $12 for, you know, a special light bulb. But when you're living paycheck to paycheck, so many of these things are going to put a hurting on that paycheck even more. And so it's fine. Do I think there's ways of going about doing anything? Absolutely. But do I trust the government to do it in a correct way that's not going to blow up? Because what happens if it blows up? That's the big question. What happens when enough is not enough? What happens when you blow up a system and put it in turmoil? You take it over, it becomes more of a... Then what? Because the big thing is, how can we make people more dependent on the government? That's a big thing.
If we can lower that age from 65 to 55, down to 45, down to 35, and then cover everybody, this is exactly, I think, what the American people want.
So if that's what they want, if you're elected president of the United States, you're going to have to go to Capitol Hill and sell this. Vice President Biden said his plan would cost $750 billion over 10 years. If you're talking to a lawmaker, January 2021, and they say, Senator, give me a number, Medicare for all, an approximate number, how much would it cost?
And therein lies the magic. How much would it cost that you're rolling out originally? So you're rolling out something. What is that going to cost? That's what I want to know. Give me the cost. And then give me the real cost. Tell me what you think it's going to cost. Take away all the best case scenarios that you're going to point the picture and paint the picture at. Then give me the real cost, the unforeseen cost, the cost of if you're going to take all these people that are currently working for insurance companies and you're going to start to switch them over to government jobs, their price tag is going to have to be added in there on their wages, their retirement, all of these things, because we're going to be shifting how many people over? I mean, let's talk about the real cost, the cost that we don't see, that's the cost that bites you in the butt.
Somewhere between 30 and 40 trillion over a 10-year period, which is much less expensive. Good, let's talk about cost. What the most serious economists tell us, that if we do nothing to fundamentally change the healthcare system, which is what Joe is talking about, keeping it as it is, we'll be spending something like $50 trillion over a 10-year period. I don't think there's a study out there, Bob, that does not suggest that Medicare for all is far less expensive.
Yeah, there is a study out there. The problem is to get to a place where we look at healthcare in a much different way, where it's affordable, where we're able to actually look at ourselves and say, okay, we're getting something, we're getting value for money and good care. The government doesn't need to be more a part of it. It needs to be less a part of it. We need to be able to buy insurance across state lines, right? We need less of the crazy regulations. I'm not talking we don't need regulations. We need less crazy regulations and over-regulations. We need more transparency. There's lots of things that we could do. But based on what we have now, he's correct. It doesn't have to be that way. But it is that way. So government's coming, and they're going to take over 20% of our economy plus. Think about that for a second. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. The battle is still going on. Oh, yes, indeed, between the squad, as they like to call themselves, and the Republicans. Of course, yesterday they voted to condemn his tweets and all. They spent 5 hours on this. 5 hours debating, talking about this. We got nowhere, right? And it's crazy. And then everybody's back at it today.
I think they believe that America was wicked in its origins.
Wicked.
I think they believe that America is even more wicked today.
It is a wicked in its origin, America. That's the thing I've been talking about when it comes to how a lot of these women freshman four, whatever you want to call them, whatever, the squad, the Wonder Women or whatever it is that, they've been giving themselves all these names, I've seen everything, the Avengers or whatever, there is a sense of, I like what America has given me the opportunity to do. I don't like how America got to the point where it got to. Right? I don't like that. I like the opportunity to come here from Somalia, Ilhan Omar, to become a citizen, to be able to go to school and have the freedoms. I don't like who built these freedoms. I don't like who they are in general, and I don't like how this country's put together outside of those things. So I believe that to be very true. My God, you can't listen to Bernie for 30 seconds before he invokes, hey, we should all be more like Denmark. Then go to Denmark. Go to Copenhagen. It's beautiful. Go to Tivoli Gardens. It's gorgeous. Do it. Doesn't mean I don't want to strive to get better. Doesn't mean there's not places in our society that we don't need to improve on. But it just always feels like it's a fight of telling everybody how bad everybody else is and how screwed up this country is, and it's a mess. And, yeah, I get the frustration by some people. I do. Do I think they're wicked? I don't know if they're wicked. It's just the whole thing's a little, we're talking about the squad. That right there just makes me scratch my head. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. If you've got the Face app, it's too late. If you haven't downloaded it and tried it to make yourself look older or do any of these things, don't do it.
It's not the first time Face app, developed by a small team from Russia, went viral. In 2017, it was criticized for what some considered racist filters that lightened users' skin tones. In the wake of recent social media scandals where other platforms have been taken to task for giving away users' private information, many now wondering if Face app is just more of the same.
If you look at their like rules and regs and you agree to everything, you essentially give them access completely to your phone. That means all your pictures, all of your data, all of your information, and all those images now belong to them. They can do whatever they want with them, including market you, do all of these things, and you get nothing, and it's in perpetuity. It just goes and goes. So while it sounds like fun, just take a peek. Just take a peek at what you're signing yourself up for. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. For all the talk of, it's so funny because everybody around here that I talk to, a lot of them can't stand Trump, and a lot of them think Russia. And I kept telling them that this is a Russian app. These people are doing all these things, and they're still doing it, and it's hilarious because they're doing something that plays into the hands of all the things that everybody talks that we shouldn't be doing. So, hey, every year, thousands and thousands and millions of dogs are euthanized, and they're dogs in shelters, and people don't think they just don't get adopted. And what ends up happening is as they're euthanized, you just sit around and you're like, God, so many times it's such a massive waste. Well, I'm working with an organization called Wounded Paw Project, and they realize those dogs aren't a waste. An opportunity is there to do something with them. And they're changing the way that people look at shelter dogs because they train them to be service dogs and get them to the people who need it. Veterans, first responders, and their families. 20 a day on average, veterans commit suicide. And having these animals in their lives is such a massive change, not only to the person who has them in life, the veteran, the first responder, the families, but also to the dog. It is incredible. They're amazing. They need your help. They need your support. They're open 7 days a week. You're going to get a tax-deductible gift. I don't care if it's cash. I don't care if it is they're looking for your RV, your truck, your extra car, a boat, whatever you have, they'll take it. And it goes to such an amazing cause, saving a paw to save a life. Check them out for yourself. WoundedPawProject.org, WoundedPawProject.org, or call them at 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729. It's the Chad Benson Show.
deal this.
Mueller, arrest me.
Chad will trade you 2 perjury charges for 1 collusion and throw in a reduced charge of obstruction for free.
Yeah, I'd do that.
For just listening to The Chad Benson Show.
We have 6 committees that are working on following the facts in terms of any abuse of power, obstruction of justice, and the rest that the president may have engaged in. That is the serious path that we are on. Not that Mr. Green is not serious, but we'll deal with that on the floor.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi has got to deal with the fact that Al Green, not the singer, but the congressperson from Houston, wanted to impeach Trump since before Trump became president, and was able to do something yesterday that triggered essentially an impeachment vote or a real discussion about it. And Nancy didn't want to do that. And I don't blame her, right? She understands it. But through the way that he did it with privilege, it's a privileged thing that he's done, essentially. A little fact, because all these weird, wacky rules and stuff. He's able to essentially make it so they either have to vote on it or push, but they're going to have to talk about it. So that'll be funny to watch if any of that happens. Oh, my God. This is crazy. Can't make this stuff up. Viral stars. In this corner, you have somebody who's a newly minted viral star. In this corner, you may have the king of viral stars. Could they match up in a boxing ring? Oh, kids, speaking of not being able to make it up, woohoo! Made in America for sure. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You form a caravan. If a government is at all a government, they don't have to allow that caravan to come up. So if they're not going to play ball, that's okay with me. We're not going to play ball with them. We don't give them any more money. They've been ripping us off for years.
Yeah. Well, look, when it comes to the triangle, the Northern Triangle, they call it there, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, corruption, and it's insane. It is. What's going on, and giving them money. And I talked a bit about it yesterday, that I saw a very interesting opinion piece in the USA Today about the Marshall Plan. What we did to rebuild Europe was massive. And that's the one, when you go and look, when you talk about nation building or whatever you want to talk about, because we're really good at starting wars and then breaking a bunch of stuff and finishing wars, but never putting a bow on it and in a lot of ways, right? We go there, we do our thing, and then we just kind of look around, right? So we've acted like Godzilla. We've stomped all over the place. But now what? And that Marshall Plan, was General George Marshall was amazing. And his whole thing is, we need to make sure that they have food. We need to do all of these things because one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to show them that America cares, that the world cares, that even though you were once an enemy, which I'm not saying they are, I'm just talking about the Marshall Plan, so keep with me here, that we do care, and we're not. And maybe that's something. Because we continue to do the same thing over and over, and we're not getting the results that we want, and we're not even getting different results, so that says that we're insane. And now, so if I'm Trump, I start thinking about immigration in a much different way, right? And I would go to these countries, and I'd put ourselves in positions where we control the money. We're not giving it to you because it doesn't get to where it needs to go. So maybe that's something we think about. But what we're doing now isn't working. It isn't. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So this is just insane, to say the least. How about this? Viral stars fighting each other. So you guys remember the Bagel Guy, right? We all remember the Bagel Guy. 5'0". Chris the Midget Morgan became a viral sensation a little while ago.
Why is it okay for women to say, oh, you're 5 feet on dating sites? You should be dead? That's okay?
Who said that to you here? Nobody.
Women in general have said it on dating sites. You think I'm making that up? Everywhere I go, I get the same smirk with the biting lip. Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father or my boss. Dude, you want to step outside? You want to step outside? Huh? I'm not scared of you, pal. I know. You shut up, too. Just like a go ahead and attack me.
So we remember him. And now he is signed on, and he's 5'0". What do you call him, Phil? What does he have? He hates women?
He's an incel.
He's an incel, so he hates women, essentially. Women hate him. So, but you got to have somebody to fight. So, apparently, they may have found somebody on September 7th, entering the ring, maybe the king of viral videos. He stands about 5-something, definitely bigger than Chris the Midget Morgan. He is famous and super famous. He's hilarious, and he gave us a rant a little over 9 years ago, that we will always appreciate and love.
Well, obviously, we have a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they're raping everybody out here.
The attack.
So Antoine Dotson and him may square off. He says he can beat him. I don't know if that's to be true, because based on the Bagel Guy and what I saw, you have no chance, because you got thumped. You got thumped. He said the Bagel Boss, right, the Midget Morgan, that's what I call him. He's from Long Island. He said, forget about it. I don't need no training. I'm prepared. Yeah. No training. So they're trying to set up this fight. I got to be honest. I'm a Dotson fan. I think Dotson wins. Here's what I think eventually happens. They both, and if you've never seen people who've never boxed before in their lives, they get into a ring, they throw 3,000 punches in 30 seconds, and then they realize they have 2 minutes and 30 more seconds to go, and they just hope they don't pass out from exhaustion. So my money is on Dotson. Who do you have, Phil? Who would you go with?
I go with Dotson.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I just think he's quick, right? I think he's going to slip some of the craziness, and boom, he's going to land a right cross, because I think that guy's all talk. All talk. Chris the Midget Morgan. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Would you try and get your car back? Right? Would you do it? Somebody steals your car. You call the police. It's a non-emergency. Somebody stole my car. Most cars are never found. When I watch Live PD, what I notice is whenever they just pull people over because they've got an expired tag, a fake tag, something like that. It's not because they're out looking for the vehicle. But one lady said, no, you're not taking my car. I will find you. Totally went super duper stealth, right? Just super stealth, like the movie Taken. She has a special set of skills.
Oh my God. So before I call the cops, I wanted to show you guys what I just found by doing our own stalking at Applebee's, and my heart's racing. I got this bitch's beer in my car. I got her cigarettes and whatever kind of drug pipe that is. And I'm about to pull over. in a mile down the street and call the cops. But I think I've got everything, and she's about to get her ass arrested because we f***ing found her.
Yeah, they found her. They found her, and she played a game of cat and mouse to find the thief of her car and her cards.
Got my car back. We stalked her all day yesterday. I turned my card back on today to see if she'd use it. She used it. We stalked her. We found her. The clerks at the gas station told us that they overheard her saying she was going to Applebee's. So we posted up at the different Applebee's, and she came to the one I was at. So I'm freaking really happy right now. She even left my necklace hanging on the rearview mirror, but I'm shaking. So I need to call the cops, but she doesn't have any way to leave Applebee's now, and she's about to use my card that I'm turning off right now. I'll update everybody later. Bye.
Oh, my God. And I love that she did this. I think it's hilarious. Her name is Danielle Reno. So she just lets her use the card here and there, and she figures, okay, I'm going to, because when people do that, they steal your cards and stuff, they're going to use it. They're giving you kind of an area of where they're going to use it, right? It's not like they're taking it. If somebody wants to steal your cards and use them on the internet via, they're going to sell them. They don't need your physical card. But if they're going to go out and use it, and here's the thing that's amazing. So you stole somebody's car. You stole their credit cards. And then you drive about town and continue to use them and drive them and think nothing's going to happen to you? Nothing? Are you that? Yes, they're that stupid. They're that stupid. Like I said, when I watch, because I Live PD makes me laugh, and I love it to see how many people get pulled over for the most random crap, and they're in a stolen vehicle. Every single time. Just like they always say, oh, I've only had 2 drinks, which is like the famous line. They steal somebody's vehicle and they just pretend it's theirs and they drive around with it. And they get pulled over for little things like not signaling and stuff. It's just, good God, people are so stupid. But you know what? Thank God for stupidity. Thank God for stupidity. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Love hearing from you. Check out the Instagram as well, because I do the gram. Lady Gaga is in a bit of hot water with some people. And here's the thing. So yesterday, Amazon Prime, the whole thing goes out. People are cheering, exciting, people spending money, tons of stuff. She launches an exclusive line of beauty products called Haus, Haus Laboratories. And people are coming after her. And the problem is first of all, you're working with Amazon and you've got some checks against that. That first one being higher wages, bad working conditions, slave labor. People are forced to work that. Well, no, that's not true, but that's what a lot of people are told. And the second thing is that the e-commerce giant is working with Palantir, which is a data company that has a big contract with ICE. So people are mad at her because she's working with the evil, bad people. And so she's taking lots of backlash. Now, it's going well for her, but it shows you, like, this is the wokeness of the wokeness. She's being eaten alive because she did something. Like, she doesn't have any control over, what makes me laugh is she is doing something for herself that is going to make her a ton of money, right? Very entrepreneurial, wonderful thing, great thing. I applaud her 1,000%. In doing so, she's working with Amazon, right? Because they came to her and said, hey, we'd love to do this. People are coming after you. You're just not woke enough. You're not smart enough. You don't understand. All the while, Amazon is working with all kinds of vendors and people who are just awful, right? Including in places like China, where they're thieving. The minute Lady Gaga gets her stuff out there, they're going to steal all of her patents. And they're going to come out with a Lady Nana version of it. It's we put our anger, and a lot of times is so misguided, not looking at a bigger picture. because we're so want to be woke. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter, you can tweet at us. AMAC is an amazing organization. Give you incredible benefits. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts. Absolutely tons of those. Yeah. 50% off movie tickets. Huge discounts at amusement parks across the board from Disneyland to SeaWorld and many, many others. On top of that, they're out there working on your behalf, trying to show the government, hey, you can make Social Security solvent without raising taxes. And right now, they've got a membership for you that is, well, you're going to like the price. It's free. Absolutely free. All you have to do is sign up. Go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. Or you can call them at 888-355-1617. That's 888-355-1617. They are incredible to work with. They're going to treat you right, and you're going to be amazed at all of the things that not only that they're doing on your behalf, but on top of that, the benefits you get. amac.us/Chad. Free membership. amac.us/Chad. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
They're on tour right now. God, the Stones sound awful. But West Palm Beach, Florida is sick and tired of their homeless problem in certain parks. So all night long, they're going to play this song to try to stop the homeless from sleeping there because they say they're losing tons of revenue. Because guess what? People don't want to go to a park where people poop, pee, and use drugs. I know it's a shock. And they're also going to throw in the newest, latest child hit, which is apparently, I've not heard this one until earlier. It's called Raining Tacos. Not Raining Men, Raining Tacos.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos.
I think that's Halsey's new hit. Is that Billie Eilish? What? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I don't know if that's going to work. I got to be honest with you. Although that shark song would probably get me to move. It would be. People are texting in, and somebody just asked me a question, and we were speaking about this earlier. So there's a New York businesswoman of Jamaican descent named Cherie Murray, and she's launched a campaign against AOC. She's conservative. And they said, I'm sending her money. Don't do it. Do not waste your money. She has zero chance in that area of winning. It's just not going to happen. It's not. It will not happen at all. And the reason is, as Nancy Pelosi put it best, I can run a glass of water in that district, and if it has a D by its name, it will win. That's the reality of that. That is the absolute reality of that right there. Don't send her money. Not that I don't want her to win. It would be a great story, but the reality is, there's just some places, right? Like, I don't know how many times I've seen people challenge the likes of Nancy Pelosi and others. You're not going to beat them. Not in that area. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Sleeping is important. MyPillow is a great way to change your sleeping habits for the better. Get solid night's sleep. Not where you lay in bed for 8 hours, you toss, you turn, you get a few hours sleep here and there. Nope. Get a real night's sleep. Make a small change. Goes a long way in your life. That is what MyPillow is doing. For my listeners, you guys out there, less than $70, right? $69.98, $34.99 per pillow. 2 premium pillows. The same amazing, incredible pillows that are machine washable and dryable, made in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. And they're going to ship it to you for free. But on top of that, they're going to give you a chance to run with it. Try it. 60 days, money back guarantee. What are you waiting for? It's a no-brainer. Go to mypillow.com, mypillow.com. Try it out for yourself. You're going to absolutely love it. 60-day money-back guarantee, free shipping. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Today is National Hot Dog Day. It's also apparently World Emoji Day. I only care about the hot dogs. Yes, I will be dining on some Nathan's hot dogs. So just enjoy that. Because hot dogs, there's just... Now that's America right there. That's America. 50 years ago, we went to space. Your useless fact of the day. Soak this up for a second. A full NASA spacesuit costs in the range of about $12 million. 70% of that cost is for the backpack, the control module, and the tank. Have a great rest of your day. We'll do it again tomorrow. As always, kids. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.